Welcome, my friend, to Purrfect Sleep Stories, a quiet place made of breath and purring and gentle light. Tonight's story is called The Cat Who Slept on the Moon. Before we begin, let's help the body remember how to rest. Take a slow breath in through your nose, not too deep, just enough to feel the air move cool and easy inside you. And now, let the breath fall out through your mouth, longer than it came in. A soft, slow exhale, as if you were sighing the day away. Again, a gentle breath in, and a longer, slower breath out. With each exhale, something inside you softens: the chest, the shoulders, the small muscles around your eyes. Feel the weight of your body resting against what's beneath you. Let it hold you completely. There's no need to do anything right now. You can let gravity take over. Let the breath move at its own pace, and just keep the out-breath a little longer. That rhythm tells your body you're safe, that you can let go. Somewhere nearby, a cat begins to purr. The sound vibrates low and steady, ancient and kind. Let that sound meet your breath. The purr hums, your exhale follows, and together they make the air feel warm again. You are safe here, completely safe, held by the night, the sound, and the simple rhythm of breathing. If you enjoy this kind of calm, remember to subscribe and tap the notification bell so each new story finds you when the world grows quiet again. And if you're still awake as the tale unfolds, you can share where you're listening from, or which cat might be keeping you company tonight. The purring continues, and the story begins.
In a quiet village by the sea, where the houses leaned close together and the night smelled faintly of salt and lavender, there lived a cat named Luna. Her fur was the color of pale honey and cream, soft as candle smoke, with a shimmer that caught every trace of light the moon offered. While other cats curled in windowsills or wandered garden walls, Luna preferred the roof. Each evening, when the last lamp in the village flickered out, she climbed to her place above the sleeping world. Tiles still warm from the day, breeze cool against her whiskers, the hush of waves breathing against the shore. Up there she would sit, tail curled neatly around her paws, and gaze at the sky. She never blinked when the stars began to rise. She only watched, quietly, endlessly. Sometimes a moth fluttered past her ear, or a faint creak came from a chimney below, but Luna never turned her head. Her eyes held only one thing: the slow, glowing face of the moon. It hung low and round, silver and calm, and seemed to shine for her alone. The villagers often whispered about it. They said the cat was enchanted.
that she belonged to the night itself. Children tried to spot her from their beds, but by the time they crept to the window, she was already a pale shape in the darkness, still as a thought half remembered. No one knew why she watched the sky so faithfully. They only knew she did, night after night, season after season. When winter brought frost to the rooftops, she sat upon a blanket of ice, her breath rising in small clouds. When spring returned and petals drifted through the air like snow, she watched the same moon from the same place, its light softer now, but just as close. Sometimes she would close her eyes and her purr would begin, low, steady, like a tide moving beneath the earth. And as she purred, the night seemed to quiet itself around her. Crickets paused, waves slowed, even the wind held its breath. It was as if the world waited, listening for what the cat might do next. But she did nothing at all. She only watched and dreamed. Some say she dreamed of clouds, cool and weightless, drifting like fields of cotton through the dark. Others say she dreamed of climbing moonbeams as though they were paths of glass. No one could know for certain, but if you had been there, standing quietly at the edge of the lane and looked up toward that glowing roof, you might have seen it too, a shimmer around her paws, like light resting in a shallow pool. You might have felt the air change, the kind of stillness that makes the heart slow down and the mind grow quiet. Luna's golden fur glowed softly in that light. Every breath she took seemed to blur the boundary between earth and sky. And somewhere between one purr and the next, the moonlight deepened, a whisper of recognition between two beings that had known each other forever, the moon and the cat who watched it. The night drifted onward, each star blinking slower than before, and Luna remained where she was, a pale shape in the silver glow. No need to move, no need to chase. The whole world was already here. The purring continues, and the sky grows softer.
Night after night, the same ritual unfolded. Luna climbed to her rooftop perch, her cream gold fur brushed by the cool hush of evening. And there, as the world dimmed into shadow, the moon found her again. It began like any friendship between quiet souls, wordless, patient. A shared stillness that said everything it needed to say. When the wind passed, it carried the moonlight closer. It wrapped around her paws, rested across her back, and shimmered softly between each whisker. Soon it became difficult to tell where Luna ended and the light began. The villagers never noticed. They saw only a pale cat on a roof of fading clay tiles. But the night saw more. From far above, the moon looked down and noticed her. Noticed the rhythm of her stillness, the calm in her gaze, the steady purr that seemed to hum in time with the turning of the world. On certain nights, when the air was especially clear, the moon would tilt slightly toward her, as if listening. Luna would purr in reply, and something unseen would stir between them, like an old melody finding its way home. The sound was too low for human ears. It moved through branches,
over rooftops, through the tide that sighed against the shore. To the night birds, it was a vibration in their wings. To the sleeping foxes, it was the dream that guided them home. To Luna, it was a whisper, a pulse, a memory she could almost recall. The light upon her fur began to change, growing softer, rounder, like breath made visible. When she closed her eyes, she could feel it move through her. Not bright, not blinding, just familiar. It hummed at the same pitch as her purr. It drifted at the same rhythm as her breath. And for a moment it seemed the moon was not far away at all, but sitting beside her, watching the same horizon. The air shimmered faintly, as though sighing. Somewhere in that shimmer a quiet voice formed. It was not speech nor sound, but a vibration felt behind her eyes in the soft drum of her chest. It said nothing more than this: "You are not alone." Luna blinked slowly. Her pupils widened, and the light deepened again, pooling around her like water around stone. The stars trembled. The wind fell still. The night waited. She stretched one paw forward, and the light rippled just slightly, as though it welcomed her touch. A thread of warmth traveled through her, gentle and endless, like remembering something kind. Her purr grew softer, lower, more resonant. And as she breathed, the moonlight seemed to breathe with her. One inhale, one exhale, two hearts beating in the dark. The whisper became rhythm. The rhythm became song. A song of stillness, a song of belonging. The kind that fills the quiet without disturbing it. And through it all, the world continued to turn, slowly, peacefully, under the gaze of a cat and her moon. The purring continues, and the night grows deeper.
One night, the air itself seemed to glow. The village slept beneath a silver hush. The waves were only murmurs, the trees holding their breath. Luna sat upon her roof as always, but the moonlight felt different, thicker, closer, as if it had been waiting for her. She blinked once, and the world brightened. The light gathered at her paws, curling like mist, then began to rise, a faint trail of shimmer, soft as milk. She lifted one paw, testing the glow. It held, cool beneath her pads, yet weightless, like walking on thought. Another step, and another. Each movement left no mark, only a ripple of pale gold. Below her, rooftops drifted away, edges softened by distance. The fields became a darker blue, the river a silver thread. She was climbing, not quickly, but with the unhurried grace of something meant to rise. The light hummed under her paws. Her tail floated behind her, a slow ribbon through the night. Around her, clouds drifted like sleeping whales. Their edges brushed her whiskers, cool and damp with rain that had not yet fallen. She passed a barn owl gliding silently, its wings a whisper against the dark. It turned its head to watch her go, but made no sound. Even the stars seemed to pause, watching, listening, their glow bending gently in her wake. Far below, the village clock
told once, a sound so faint it was already fading. Up here, time felt slower, every breath stretched wide, every heartbeat an ocean apart. Luna's golden fur shimmered, catching the light from all directions. She looked less like a creature of earth now, and more like the memory of one, a dream walking home. The moon grew larger ahead, its surface brushed with quiet fire, and though she did not hurry, she felt it drawing her closer, as though calling her by name. Sometimes the path beneath her thinned to threads of silver, barely visible, barely real, but she never faltered. Her paws knew the way, her heart knew the rhythm, the same rhythm that had pulsed in every night she'd ever known. When she reached the edge of a cloud, she paused. The air was soft, so soft it felt alive. She lowered her body and rested a moment, feeling the hush beneath her chest. Above, the moon waited, not distant now, not untouchable. Between them hung a silence so complete it was almost a sound. She took another breath and continued, step by step, through light and wind, through stillness that hummed like a heart, until all that remained was glow. The purring continues, and the night drifts higher. At last, the path beneath her paws began to fade. The light no longer rose, it opened. Before her stretched a vast, shimmering plain, woven from threads of silence and silver. Not ground, not air, something in between. A meadow made of stars. They were small, each one no larger than a grain of sand, yet together they glowed with a warmth that felt alive. Luna stepped forward carefully. The stars shifted beneath her, soft as moss, humming faintly when touched. She lowered herself, curling into their brightness, and the stars gathered around her like dew collecting in the folds of dawn. Every breath she took set tiny ripples moving through the field, slow waves of light, expanding, fading, returning. Above her, the great curve of the moon loomed near. Its craters looked gentle from here, like sleeping valleys. Luna blinked once, twice, and the stars blinked back. There was no up, no down, no weight to anything, only stillness and sound that wasn't sound, a low vibration, soothing as a distant purr. She felt it in her chest, in the pads of her paws, in the very tips of her ears. The whole meadow purred with her, a chorus of light, breathing in rhythm. Each pulse of glow melted the edges of her thoughts, until there was nothing left to remember, only this endless floating quiet, this warmth without source, this peace without end. She closed her eyes, and for a moment it seemed the universe exhaled. The stars drifted closer, nestling into her fur like tiny suns seeking sleep. Her tail flicked once, slow as the turning of a tide, and a path of soft radiance spiraled outward from her body. From far away, it might have looked like a bloom, a golden flower unfolding in the dark. The air smelled faintly of rain, though there was none. It tasted of quiet metal and the sweetness of frozen air. She listened. Somewhere deep within the hush, the heartbeat of the night continued, steady, ancient, kind. No clocks, no footsteps, only that pulse. Luna's breathing slowed to match it. Her chest rose and fell like a tide between worlds. The stars dimmed in time with her breath, as though resting too. And in that shared rhythm, everything, moon, sky, cat, and light, became one long sigh. She was no longer climbing, no longer watching. She was simply being, floating in a meadow where nothing ever rushed and nothing ever ended. The purring continues, and the world stands still.
From somewhere above the silver plain, a glow began to gather. It drifted downward, slow as falling snow, folding itself around Luna like light learning to touch. The stars beneath her brightened, their hum shifting to a gentler tone, a lullaby made of warmth. It wasn't sound, and yet it was heard. Not speech, and yet it was understood. The moon was speaking. Not with words, but with radiance, with the steady pulse of an old and patient heart. Luna opened her eyes. They shimmered pale green in the glow, reflecting 1,000 tiny moons within their quiet depths. She listened, and the moons spoke again. Not in commands, nor questions, only in memory. "You have always belonged to the night," it said. "You are the light that remembers the dark, and the dark that remembers the light." Her whiskers trembled. Her breath deepened. The words, if they were words, moved through her fur like warmth through sunlight. They hummed in her chest, slipped into her paws, and curled into her tail. "Every cat carries my reflection," the moon whispered. "In your eyes, the world sees me looking back." She blinked slowly, as if to say she knew. The stars rippled at her sides. The field of light breathed with her. The silence felt alive, a great soft creature holding her in its rhythm. The moon continued. "When the world sleeps, I keep the watch, but when you sleep, you keep the dream." Its light brushed her head the way a mother might brush a child's fur, and for the first time Luna lowered her gaze. Her body grew heavier, though not with weight, with peace. A hum filled the air around her, a soundless chord, the lullaby of the moon itself. It was a vibration so deep it seemed to reach through time, through oceans, through memory. It told her she was safe, that she could rest, that nothing more was needed of her tonight. The light around her brightened, then softened, then began to pulse in slow waves, each one echoing the rhythm of her breath. It wasn't a song she heard with her ears, but one she felt behind her eyes, in the soft space between her thoughts. A melody without edge, a cradle made of sound, and within it the whole sky began to purr, low, resonant, endless, a sound that wrapped the world and rocked it gently,
Luna tucked her paws beneath her chest, closed her eyes, and drifted deeper into the glow. The moonlight bent close, a quiet guardian above her, and as she finally surrendered to rest, the stars dimmed, their hum fading into the rhythm of her breathing. Her tail gave one final flick, a sigh of contentment, a spark of gold dissolving into silver. The moon whispered once more, "Sleep, little one, and I will dream with you." The purring continues, and the light grows warm.
Time, if there was such a thing here, began to move again. A faint pull stirred the stars beneath her. Not sudden, not strong, just a quiet reminder that the world below was calling. Luna opened her eyes. The meadow of light still shimmered around her, but its glow was changing, fading to the palest blue, like moonlight remembering dawn. She lifted her head. The moon hung close above her, watching, its curves soft with affection. For a long moment they said nothing. They only shared the silence that comes after a lullaby ends. Then, with a breath that rippled through the stars, the moon released her. The glow beneath her paws began to dissolve, turning thin, turning weightless, until she was floating once more. The air around her drifted downward, a gentle current, carrying her the way sleep carries a dream. Below, the clouds swirled open like petals in slow motion. She passed through them, their edges brushing her fur with droplets of silver rain. Each one held a tiny reflection of her face, a golden cat, half made of light. She blinked, and they spattered, falling softly toward the earth. The night thinned into morning. The stars dimmed one by one, folding themselves away like tiny lamps. Luna drifted lower through the last wisps of darkness. The scent of salt returned, the ocean breathing below. She could see the rooftops now, the little houses, the narrow lanes, the fields beyond, still blue with sleep. Her cottage waited, its chimney sending a faint curl of smoke into the new sky. She landed as quietly as she had left, one paw, then another, onto the tiles that still remembered her warmth. The light around her faded, but not entirely. A shimmer clung to her fur, as if the moon had left its fingerprints behind. She stretched, arched her back, and yawned. The first bird of morning sang from a nearby tree. A soft breeze lifted her whiskers. Somewhere in the village, a window creaked open, and the smell of baking bread drifted upward. Luna laid down on the roof's ridge, the same spot she had always claimed. But the sky above her looked different now, not just vast, but familiar, as if she had been a part of it all along. Her tail curled around her body, her eyes half closed. The warmth of sunrise met the cool memory of the moon, and in that meeting she found perfect rest. Below, the world began to wake. Doors opened, steps echoed, voices murmured, yet none of it reached her. She was already asleep, dreaming not of clouds or stars this time, but of home. Her breath deepened, slow and sure, and if you stood in the lane beneath her roof, you might have sworn you heard the faintest hum carried on the morning air, a sound like the moon purring. The purring continues, and the earth exhales.
In the days that followed, the village noticed something strange. Each morning, the roof of the old cottage glimmered faintly in the sunlight, as though dusted with silver. Children pointed from the lanes below. Their mothers smiled, shaking their heads. But when night returned, and the moon rose high again, the shimmer grew stronger. It lingered there, a pale memory of light woven into the clay tiles themselves. The villagers whispered that Luna had been touched by the moon, that some nights when the world was very still, you could see her shape glow softly against the dark. Some swore they heard her purring still, not loud, but enough to stir the curtains, to make the candles flicker, to calm restless dreams. Others said she had never truly returned, that what lay sleeping on the roof was only her reflection, the part of her the moon kept behind. The stories grew like vines, twisting between truth and wonder. But the oldest among them said quietly, "She visits both worlds. The moon keeps her by night, and the earth keeps her by day." And perhaps that was so. For on nights when the sea was calm and the stars trembled like dew, you could sometimes see a trail of light stretching upward from the horizon, faint, golden, curving gently toward the moon. The sailors called it the cat's path. They said it was good luck to follow it with your eyes, but never to speak aloud while doing so. The moment you did, the path would vanish, as if it had only ever been a dream. In the cottages below, cats slept deeper on such nights. Their paws twitched, their whiskers quivered, and sometimes a soft purr rose from them all at once, a harmony only the moon could hear. And maybe in that quiet hum the moon smiled, for it had known a small golden creature who once climbed into its arms and taught it the meaning of rest. Now, when the night grows calm and the light feels alive, some say it's because the moon remembers her, that it still carries her warmth in its pale glow, the echo of a cat who once fell asleep among the stars. The story drifts through generations, told in whispers, retold in sighs, and still it never quite ends, because somewhere, in every patch of moonlight that spills across a windowsill, a cat will find it, curl into it, and remember her. Perhaps even tonight, as you listen, a soft golden shape is walking the sky once more. Maybe she pauses above your home, glancing down through the quiet air to be sure you are at peace. And then, when she sees that you are, she continues her climb, slow, unhurried, toward her silver meadow. Perhaps she taught the moon to purr. The purring continues, and the world grows quieter.
The story fades now, like moonlight
folding back into the sky. The cat sleeps. The night drifts on. You don't need to move. You don't need to think about anything that comes next. Just feel the quiet weight of your body where it rests, the softness beneath you, the air moving in and out, slow and easy. Your body knows what to do. Every breath unwinds what's left of the day. Every exhale releases a little more of what you were carrying. Somewhere nearby, the sound of purring continues, low, warm, and steady. It fills the space like a blanket, a signal that everything is safe, that you can drift without holding on. The mind begins to dim, like stars fading into dawn. Thoughts blur, edges soften. The world grows very still. If you're still awake, let your breath slow a little more. In through the nose, out through the mouth. A whisper of calm on each side. The night is watching over you now, the same way the moon watched over her. There's nothing left to do, nothing left to reach for, only the sound of purring and rest. Sleep if you wish, dream if you drift. The purring continues, and the world grows quieter.